So I'd really like to welcome Jill Howell to our session today. We're going to talk about art therapy, and Jill has been with the Centre for an awful long time, helping people to understand more about the value and the benefits of art therapy. So Jill, tell me a little bit about your background and how you got into this.
Well, I was a teacher, an art teacher, and I taught children who weren't in school, so they were out of school because they were either problems or they had medical problems, and they were often taught on a one-to-one basis or in small groups. So, in a way, that's been quite useful in helping work with groups, small groups. So I joined the Cancer Centre, I can't remember how many years ago, as a volunteer. And then because I trained as an aromatherapist and in other complementary therapies and also with Reiki, I started to do therapies for the centre. And it progressed from there really until I was asked if I would set up an art group for the clients, and I managed to get a very generous grant from the Scarman Trust, which enabled me to do that. And it seems to have gone from strength to strength.
And how is art a therapy, do you think, from your perspective? What do people get from it?
Well, there's lots of things really. They get the support of the other people in the group, which is very, very important. They can feel secure in that they know that whatever goes on in the room, we make this quite clear, stays in the room. So if they feel that they want to come in and explode one day, that's fine. They come for various reasons. Some people are really serious about the art and perhaps don't realise how much they need the therapy side of it, and others come and may not even feel like doing any particular work, but will just sit and talk or look at books or make the tea, listen to music. We laugh a lot, but that is just one part of it. When they're actually doing the art itself, then they are able to immerse themselves in that, and the very fact that you can switch off for a couple of hours in itself is a therapy. And there's lots and lots of research that's gone on that proves that just being able to do that enables the body to calm down, the mind to calm down, and or healing to commence, really.
So as somebody who doesn't feel like she has an artistic bone in her body, what would you say to somebody like me who'd be like, oh no, I don't think art's for me?
Well, you'd be surprised how many people come along and say, I can't even draw a straight line. That's the one. And well, for a start, you don't need to draw straight lines. And it means trying to encourage enthusiasm, I suppose, and trying to get across that there's no right or wrong answer. It's not like a maths question, and that if you end up with a piece of paper that is no good at the end, then you haven't lost anything, you've gained something. And I always encourage people to keep their early work so that they can actually see how much they've progressed, and just try and give them confidence, really, to know that whatever they do is right. It doesn't, as I say, there isn't a right or wrong answer. And it's difficult because with something like maths, you can hide it from your neighbour. With something like art, you can't. You've got to try and get over that, not trying to compare yourself to other people in the class, because there's always a huge range of abilities, and just to do the best that you can.
Do you have any examples of clients who have come to the class and the specific benefits they've got from it?
Oh yes, loads. Um, had in the early days, I had a lady come, and I always try and say we can approach it from different angles. You can approach it from yourself, from your feelings at the time. You can approach it by just literally looking at another artist's work and so on and so forth. And she felt that her world had been shattered by her diagnosis. So she actually drew a world and cut it up into pieces. And then she wrote a piece of work, and which she wrote around the edge of the poem. And that was her expressing her feeling at that time.
Oh, wow.
Another lady came along, and she was really, really down, and all she wanted to do was paint black. So she just painted sheets and sheets of black paper. And then a few weeks later, in the process of having radiotherapy, I think, and she started painting red everywhere, which represented to her the heat of the radiotherapy.
Mm-hmm.
And within months, she was through that phase, and she was painting portraits, actually. So those are just two. There's loads of examples like that.
Mm-hmm.
As I say, other people come along and they're very, very serious about learning techniques, and so that's a different approach altogether.
Yeah.
So, oh, one lady I know, she was very enthusiastic, and she had to go into hospital. And when she came back, she said that she couldn't stop thinking about doing her art, and every time the nurse bent over her, she was looking at her and saying, "Oh, I could draw her nose that way," and oh, look after her. So she'd done lots and lots of sketches while she was laid up, which was really good.
Wow. Okay. So at the moment, we're not in a position, unfortunately, to have everybody in a room doing group activities, but we're hoping to do that going forward. For people who are at home at the moment, is there anything that you could recommend for us to do? Anything that might help us to take advantage of the therapeutic nature of art?
Wow. Look at pictures, look at objects. Looking is a very important part of art. People don't realise that looking is important. Starting point is when you actually put marks on the paper. But it doesn't have to be paper. It could be collage. It could be well, anything really. But just to do something, to actually put something down, some patterns on a paper, some doodles, anything really to get started. But looking at even pictures on the internet, give them some inspiration, or taking a flower out of the garden, or just actually making a start really, and getting over that initial looking at a piece of paper and thinking, where do I start? Just do it.
Just do it. I like that. Yeah, absolutely. And when we are back and open, for somebody coming for the first time, is there any preparation they should do? Is there anything they should expect on their first session?
No, not at all. We have all the materials that they would need. Unfortunately, we can't do clay work, which is sad because I am a potter, because of health and safety. And we don't encourage oil paints either, because the smell of the turps can affect some people's chests, that sort of thing. But no, to come along with an open mind, and the group is usually very, very welcoming. Prepared to enjoy themselves, really.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Is there anything else that you would like to say to the people watching here today about the value of art and as a therapy?
I just can't stress it enough that just purely the act of engaged in anything creative really. It doesn't have to be art. You know, anything creative can literally take you onto another level and enable you to forget for a time being whatever the problem is. It doesn't have to be health. Enable you to. I've got a quote somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically about people as they grow up, feeling inhibited by drawing and painting, things like that. Whereas children are so uninhibited, they don't care if something doesn't look like it's supposed to, whereas adults do. And once they get to sort of teenagers, it's got to look like it's supposed to look. And this is a quote from a Japanese person called Howard Ikamito. I don't know how to pronounce it. When my daughter was about 7, she asked me one day what I did at work. I told her I worked at a college teaching people to draw. She stared at me, incredulous, and said, "You mean they forget?" I think that sums up that feeling that adults have about, sort of being on show. And that's really what we try and get over that in the group. That it doesn't matter what you do, it's your piece, it's your interpretation, and nobody's going to come around and say what's it supposed to be, which is what unfortunately some teachers do to children in school, which puts them right off.
So bring back the creativity of a young child.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Thank you so much for your time, Jill.
Okay, thank you.